They say marriage is about compromise, but apparently nobody told my wife that compromise works both ways. I'm Daniel Foster, 39 years old, architect by trade, and currently sitting in my home office listening to Tessa explain why I'm the problem with our 16-year marriage. "You're so entitled, Dan," she says, standing in my doorway with that particular expression she reserves for discussions about my character flaws. "You think just because you pay the mortgage, you get to have opinions about everything." I look up from my drafting table where I'm working on plans for a client's kitchen renovation. The irony isn't lost on me. I'm designing someone else's dream home while mine crumbles around me. "I asked where you were last night," I say, keeping my voice level. That's not entitlement. That's basic courtesy between married people. "I was at Simone's. We had book club." The lie rolls off her tongue so smoothly I almost admire the technique. Almost. Except I drove past Simone's house at 9:30 last night, and her driveway was empty. No cars, no book club, no Tessa. "Right," I say. "What book?" She hesitates for just a moment, the tell that gives her away every time. "The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo." I nod thoughtfully. "Interesting choice, especially since you finished that book 3 months ago and spent an entire weekend telling me how much you hated it." Her face flushes. "Maybe you weren't paying attention? Maybe you weren't at book club." The silence stretches between us like a taut wire. Outside, our neighbor Mr. Harold is trimming his hedges with the dedication of a man who has nothing better to do than maintain perfect landscaping and observe everyone else's business. "I don't have to account for every minute of my time to you," Tessa finally says. "No, but lying about it is a choice." She straightens up, and I recognize the stance. It's her battle position, the one she uses when she's about to launch into a lecture about my failings as a husband and human being. "You know what your problem is, Dan. You're stuck in some 1950s fantasy where the little woman stays home and waits for her husband to come home from work. Well, newsflash. I have my own life, my own friends, my own interests that don't revolve around you." I set down my pencil and really look at her. When did she start dressing differently? The yoga pants are new, expensive looking. The top is cut lower than anything she's worn around the house in years. Her hair is different too, highlighted, styled in a way that suggests she's making an effort for someone, just not for me. "I never asked you to revolve around me," I say. "I asked where you were, and I told you. You lied to me, according to you." Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. This is how our conversations go now. Everything is circular, defensive, designed to deflect rather than communicate. I wonder when we stopped being partners and became adversaries. My daughter Maddie appears in the hallway behind Tessa, backpack slung over one shoulder. She's 12, sharp as a tack, and has inherited my ability to read people. The look she gives me is sympathetic, like she knows something I don't. "Mom, can you drive me to Emma's house?" Maddie asks. "I'm busy," Tessa says without turning around. "Ask your father." Maddie's expression doesn't change, but I catch the slight eye roll. She's noticed the shift in our household dynamics too. "I'll take you," I tell her. "Give me 5 minutes to finish this measurement." "Thanks, Dad." Tessa finally turns away from me. "I'm going out tonight. Don't wait up." "Where?" "Out." She disappears down the hallway, leaving me with the distinct impression that this conversation was just a warm-up for whatever's coming next. Maddie lingers in the doorway. "Dad?" "Yeah, kiddo? Is everything okay?" The question hits harder than it should. My 12-year-old daughter is asking if everything's okay because she can sense the tension that's been building in our house for months. She shouldn't have to worry about this stuff. "Everything's fine," I lie, because that's what parents do. Just some grown-up stuff to work through. She nods, but I can tell she's not buying it. Maddie's too smart for her own good sometimes. After I drop her off at Emma's house, I drive home through our neighborhood. It's one of those upper-middle-class subdivisions where everyone knows everyone else's business, where the lawns are manicured and the gossip flows like wine at a book club that may or may not actually exist. I pull into our driveway and sit in the car for a moment, looking at our house. It's a colonial I designed myself, with custom details that took months to perfect. The wraparound porch, the bay windows, the carefully planned landscaping, everything designed to create the perfect family home. Too bad the family part isn't working out so well. Inside, I can hear Tessa on the phone in our bedroom. Her voice is lower than usual, more intimate. I pause at the bottom of the stairs, not quite eavesdropping, but not exactly ignoring it either. "Can't wait to see you tonight," she's saying. I know. It's complicated, but we'll figure it out." There's a pause, then laughter. The kind of laughter I haven't heard from her in years. Light, flirtatious, happy. "You're terrible," she says, and I can hear the smile in her voice. "Okay, I'll see you at 8. I head back to my office, closing the door quietly behind me. The kitchen renovation plans are still spread across my drafting table, but I can't focus on them anymore. Instead, I'm thinking about that phone call, about the lies, about the way my wife has been treating me like a roommate she barely tolerates. 16 years of marriage, 13 years of living in this house, 12 years of raising Maddie together, and now this. I open my laptop and start typing. Not architectural plans this time, but notes. Times, dates, inconsistencies in Tessa's stories. If she wants to play games, I need to understand the rules first. The first rule, apparently, is that there are no rules. 3 days later, I'm in the kitchen making coffee when I hear Tessa's phone buzzing on the counter. She's upstairs in the shower, and normally I wouldn't even glance at it. Privacy and trust, right? The foundation of a healthy marriage. Except we don't have a healthy marriage anymore. The phone buzzes again, then again. I glance toward the stairs. The shower is still running. Steam is starting to drift down from the bathroom. The phone buzzes a fourth time. I pick it up. The messages are from someone named Luke. The preview shows enough to make my stomach clench. "Last night was incredible. When can I see you again? Can't stop thinking about you. Your husband doesn't deserve you." I set the phone down like it's radioactive. My hands are shaking slightly, and I realize I'm holding my breath. 16 years. The shower shuts off upstairs. I move away from the counter, busying myself with the coffee maker, trying to look casual when Tessa comes downstairs 10 minutes later. She's dressed for work, or at least that's what she wants me to think. The skirt is shorter than usual, the blouse more fitted. She looks good. Really good. The kind of good that takes effort and planning. "Morning," she says, grabbing her phone without looking at me. "Morning." She checks her messages, and I watch her face carefully. There's a small smile, quickly suppressed. She types a quick response, then slips the phone into her purse. "I'll be late tonight," she says. "Work thing." "What kind of work thing?" "Team building exercise. You know how corporate loves their bonding activities." Another lie. Tessa works in HR at a mid-sized insurance company. I know her schedule, her colleagues, her boss, Ms. Whitaker. There's no team building exercise tonight. "Sounds fun," I say. She gives me a sharp look, like she's trying to figure out if I'm being sarcastic. I'm not. I'm being careful. After she leaves, I sit at the kitchen table with my coffee and think. Luke. The name is familiar, but I can't place it immediately. Then it hits me. Luke Pryor. He runs some kind of wellness center downtown. Yoga, meditation, life coaching. The kind of place where middle-aged women go to, find themselves, and apparently find other things too. I remember Tessa mentioning him a few months ago. She'd started taking yoga classes, said it was good for her stress levels. She'd come home from those classes relaxed and happy, more like her old self. Now I know why. The rational part of my brain tells me to confront her directly. Have an honest conversation about our marriage, about what we both want, about whether this is something we can work through. The other part of my brain, the part that's been cataloging lies and inconsistencies for weeks, tells me to gather information first. Know what I'm dealing with before I make any moves. I choose information. That evening, I tell Maddie I need to run an errand and drive downtown to Luke's Wellness Center. It's in a converted warehouse, all exposed brick and industrial lighting. Very trendy, very expensive looking. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, I can see a yoga class in session. 20 or so people in various poses, following an instructor who looks like he stepped out of a fitness magazine. Tall, lean, perfectly groomed. The kind of man who probably uses the word journey unironically and thinks green smoothies are a personality trait. Luke Pryor. I sit in my car across the street and watch. The class ends at 7:30, and people start filtering out. Couples mostly. A few single women. At 7:45, a familiar car pulls up. Tessa's silver BMW. She gets out, and even from a distance, I can see she's changed clothes since this morning. Gone is the professional work attire, replaced by yoga pants and a form-fitting top. She looks around nervously before walking to the entrance. But the class is over. The building is nearly empty. Luke appears in the doorway. Even from across the street, I can see his smile, the way he reaches for her hand, the way she melts into his arms. They disappear inside together. I sit in my car for another hour, watching the windows. The lights in the main studio go out, but there's still illumination coming from what looks like an office or apartment on the second floor. At 9:15, they emerge together. Luke walks her to her car, and they kiss. Not a friendly peck on the cheek, but a real kiss. The kind of kiss that says this has been going on for a while. Tessa drives away first. Luke watches her go, then gets into his own vehicle, a custom Range Rover with personalized plates that read Zen Life. I follow him home, keeping my distance. He lives in a trendy loft complex about 10 minutes from his studio, the kind of place with a doorman and valet parking, where the rent costs more than most people's mortgages. When I get home, Tessa's car is already in the driveway. I find her in the kitchen, heating up leftover takeout. "How was the team building?" I ask. "Exhausting," she says without looking at me. "All that trust fall nonsense." "Sounds rough?" "You have no idea." She's right. I have no idea, but I'm starting to get one. In that night, after Tessa falls asleep, I lie awake staring at the ceiling. 16 years of marriage, and it's come to this. My wife is having an affair with a yoga instructor named Luke who drives a Range Rover and probably tells her she's on a journey of self-discovery. The cliché would be funny if it weren't happening to me. I think about Maddie, about what this will do to her. I think about the house, the life we've built, the future we planned. I think about confronting Tessa, about couples therapy, about whether there's any way to salvage what we had. Then I think about Luke's hands on my wife, about the lies she's been telling me, about the way she's been treating me like an inconvenience in my own home. By morning, I've made my decision. If Tessa wants to play games, I'll learn the rules, but I'll be playing to win. The next morning, I do something I've never done in 16 years of marriage. I go through Tessa's things. She's at work, or at least she's supposed to be. After last night's revelation, I'm not sure I can trust anything she tells me anymore. But Maddie's at school, the house is empty, and I have questions that need answers. I start with her dresser. Nothing unusual in the top drawers. Underwear, socks, the normal detritus of daily life. But in the bottom drawer, hidden under a stack of old sweaters, I find something interesting. A second phone. It's a cheap prepaid model, the kind you can buy at any convenience store. The kind people use when they don't want their regular activities tracked or traced. I power it on, and the screen fills with messages. All from Luke. "Can't wait to hold you again. Your skin is so soft. I dream about you every night. When are you going to leave him?" That last one hits like a punch to the gut. Leave him. Leave me. I scroll through weeks of messages, and the picture becomes clearer. This isn't just a physical affair. It's emotional, too. Luke is telling her everything she wants to hear, painting me as the villain in her story, encouraging her to think of herself as trapped and unfulfilled. "You deserve so much better than what you have. He doesn't appreciate you the way I do. You're wasting your life with someone who doesn't understand you." The manipulation is textbook, but effective. I can see how it would work on someone who's feeling undervalued, overlooked, taken for granted. The problem is, I haven't been taking Tessa for granted. At least, I don't think I have. But looking at these messages, I'm starting to wonder if that's how she sees it. One message thread catches my attention. It's from 2 weeks ago. Tessa. "He's getting suspicious, asking too many questions." Luke. "Then maybe it's time to make a move. You can't live a lie forever." Tessa. "I'm not ready. Maddie's still young, and the finances are complicated." Luke. "I told you I'd take care of you, both of you. You don't need him." Tessa. "I know. I just need more time." Luke. "Time for what? To keep pretending you're happy? To keep letting him control your life?" Tessa. "He doesn't control my life." Luke. "Doesn't he? When's the last time you did something just for you? When's the last time you felt truly alive?" I set the phone down and sit on the edge of our bed, where I've been sleeping next to a stranger for months without realizing it. The worst part isn't the affair itself. It's the realization that Tessa has been building a case against me in her mind with Luke's encouragement. Every small disagreement, every moment of ordinary marital friction has been reframed as evidence of my inadequacy as a husband. I'm not perfect. I know that. I work long hours sometimes. I can be distracted by projects. I probably don't tell her I love her as often as I should, but I've never been controlling or manipulative or any of the things Luke is suggesting. Yet here she is, believing it. I take photos of the most damaging messages, then put the phone back exactly where I found it. If Tessa wants to play games, she needs to think she's still in control. The rest of my search turns up more evidence. Credit card statements showing charges at expensive restaurants I've never been to. Hotel receipts tucked into coat pockets. A receipt for lingerie I've never seen her wear. She's been living a double life, and she's been financing it with our money. By the time I hear her car in the driveway, I'm back in my office, working on architectural plans like nothing has happened. But everything has changed. "Hey," she says, poking her head into my office. How was your day? Productive, I say without looking up. Yours? The usual. Meetings, paperwork, corporate drama. Sounds exhausting. It is. She pauses. I might be late again tomorrow. Ms. Whitaker wants to take some of us out for drinks after work. Team morale thing. Another lie. I can see it in her face, hear it in her voice. But now I know what the truth looks like, and it's not team drinks with her boss. That's nice of her, I say. You should go. You work hard. Tessa blinks, clearly surprised by my supportive response. She was probably expecting pushback, maybe even hoping for it so she could paint me as the controlling husband Luke thinks I am. Really? You don't mind? Why would I mind? You deserve to have fun with your colleagues. She stares at me for a moment, like she's trying to figure out what game I'm playing. The truth is, I'm not playing a game yet. I'm still learning the rules. But I'm a quick study. That night, after Tessa goes to bed, I sit in my office and make a plan. Not a revenge plan. Not yet. An information gathering plan. If this marriage is going to end, I want to make sure I understand exactly what I'm dealing with first. I create a new folder on my computer and start organizing what I know. Dates, times, locations, evidence, the secret phone messages, the financial records, the lies about her whereabouts. I also start researching Luke Pryor. His business, his background, his other relationships. It doesn't take long to find some interesting information. Turns out Luke has a pattern. This isn't his first affair with a married client. There are reviews online, complaints on wellness forums, whispered warnings about his unconventional approach to life coaching. He's a predator who targets vulnerable women, tells them what they want to hear, then moves on when the situation gets too complicated. Tessa thinks she's special, but she's just his latest mark. The question is, what am I going to do about it? I decide to start small. The next morning, I'm in the kitchen when Tessa comes downstairs, dressed for another day of work. She's on her phone, texting someone, probably Luke, and barely acknowledges my presence. Coffee's fresh, I say, thanks. She doesn't look up from her phone. I was thinking, I continue, maybe we should plan something fun for the weekend, just the three of us. It's been a while since we did a family activity. Now she looks up, and there's something almost guilty in her expression. This weekend? Saturday, maybe. We could drive up to the lake, take Maddie hiking. Remember how much she loved that trail we found last summer? Tessa hesitates. I might have plans Saturday. What kind of plans? Simone's having a girls' day, spa treatments, lunch, that sort of thing. Another lie. I happen to know Simone is going to her mother-in-law's birthday party on Saturday because she posted about it on social media, but I don't call Tessa out on it. Not yet. That sounds nice, I say instead. You should definitely go. You've been working so hard lately. Again, that look of confusion. She's expecting resistance, conflict, the controlling behavior Luke has convinced her to watch for. My supportive response is throwing her off balance. Are you feeling okay? She asks. Fine. Why? You're being different. Different how? I don't know. Agreeable. I smile. Maybe I'm just trying to be a better husband. She stares at me for a long moment, then shakes her head and goes back to her phone. But I can tell she's unsettled. Good. After she leaves, I make a phone call. Pryor Wellness Center. This is Luke speaking. His voice is smooth, confident. The voice of a man who's convinced he's smarter than everyone around him. Hi, I say, disguising my voice slightly. I'm interested in your couples counseling services. Absolutely. We offer several programs designed to help partners reconnect and rediscover their authentic selves together. That sounds perfect. My wife and I have been having some communication issues, and I think we could use professional guidance. I completely understand. Many couples find that they've lost touch with who they really are as individuals, which makes it difficult to connect as partners. The irony is thick enough to cut with a knife. Exactly, I say. When would be a good time to come in for a consultation? Let me check my schedule. I hear him typing. I have an opening this Thursday at 6. Would that work? Perfect. Should I bring my wife? For the initial consultation, I prefer to meet with each partner individually first. It helps me understand the dynamics before we work together. Of course he does. Easier to manipulate people when they're isolated. That makes sense. I'll see you Thursday at 6. Great. Can I get your name for the appointment? David, I say, using my middle name. David Mitchell. Perfect, David. I look forward to meeting you. I hang up and smile. Phase 1 of my plan is in motion. Thursday evening, I tell Tessa I'm meeting a potential client for dinner. She barely looks up from her phone when I leave. Luke's Wellness Center is busy when I arrive. There's a yoga class in session, and the lobby is filled with people in expensive athletic wear discussing their journeys and transformations. I check in with the receptionist, a young woman with perfect posture and the kind of serene expression that suggests either deep inner peace or really good pharmaceuticals. "David Mitchell to see Luke," I say. "Of course, he'll be right with you." I take a seat and observe the environment. Everything is designed to project calm, success, and spiritual enlightenment. Soft lighting, natural materials, inspirational quotes on the walls, the kind of place that charges premium prices for common sense wrapped in mystical language. "David?" I turn to find Luke approaching, hand extended. He's exactly what I expected. Tall, fit, perfectly groomed, with the kind of smile that's been practiced in mirrors. "Thanks for coming in," he says as we shake hands. "Why don't we go to my office where we can talk privately?" His office is on the second floor, decorated in the same style as the rest of the center, but with personal touches that reveal his ego. Awards, certificates, photos of him with various local celebrities and politicians. A man who likes to be seen as important. "So, David," he says, settling into his chair, "tell me about your relationship challenges." "Well," I begin, "my wife and I have been married for 16 years, and lately it feels like we're living separate lives. She's distant, secretive, always finding excuses to be somewhere else." Luke nods sympathetically. "That must be very difficult for you." "It is. I keep wondering if there's something I'm doing wrong, or if maybe she's just outgrown our marriage." "Can I ask you something, David? When's the last time you really listened to your wife? Not just heard her words, but truly listened to what she was trying to communicate?" "I think I listened to her." Thinking and knowing are two different things. Many men believe they're good listeners, but they're actually just waiting for their turn to talk. I nod thoughtfully. "You might be right. Maybe I've been too focused on my own perspective." "It's natural," Luke says, warming to his subject. "Society teaches men to be problem solvers, to fix things rather than simply being present. But women need emotional connection, validation, understanding." "So you think the problem is with me?" "I think the problem is with the dynamic you've created together. Your wife probably feels unheard, unappreciated, maybe even trapped." The word trapped is interesting. It's the same language he used in his messages to Tessa. "Trapped how?" "Well, after 16 years of marriage, patterns become very entrenched. She might feel like she's lost herself in the relationship, like she's just playing a role instead of living authentically." "And how do you help couples work through that?" Luke leans forward, his expression earnest. "The first step is individual work. Each partner needs to reconnect with their authentic self before they can authentically connect with each other." That makes sense, and if the individual work reveals that someone has outgrown the relationship, then they need to have the courage to honor that truth, even if it's painful. There it is, the philosophy that's been poisoning my marriage. Luke doesn't counsel couples to work through their problems. He encourages them to abandon their commitments in pursuit of authentic happiness. "Have you ever been married, Luke?" "I was, yes, for 8 years." "What happened?" His expression shifts slightly. "We grew apart. I realized I was living someone else's idea of what my life should look like instead of following my own path." "So you left?" "We both agreed it was time to move on. It was actually very amicable." I wonder if his ex-wife would describe it the same way. We talk for another 30 minutes, and Luke gives me his full sales pitch. Individual sessions, couples retreats, ongoing coaching, all designed to help people live their truth and embrace their authentic selves. What he's really selling is permission to be selfish, wrapped in therapeutic language. "This has been very helpful," I tell him as our session winds down. "I think I'd like to set up regular appointments." "Excellent. And David, don't be too hard on yourself. The fact that you're here shows you care about your marriage. That's more than a lot of men would do." If only he knew. I schedule a follow-up appointment for the next week, then drive home with a much clearer picture of what I'm dealing with. Luke isn't just sleeping with my wife. He's systematically undermining our marriage, convincing her that I'm the obstacle to her happiness. But now I know his playbook, and I'm going to use it against him. Saturday morning arrives with the kind of crisp autumn air that makes you believe in fresh starts and new possibilities. Too bad I'm planning to end a few things instead. Tessa is getting ready for her fictional spa day with Simone, taking extra care with her appearance. She's chosen a dress I haven't seen before, something that suggests she's not planning to spend the day getting facials and pedicures. "You look nice," I tell her as she checks herself in the hallway mirror. "Thank you." She seems surprised by the compliment. "Have fun with Simone. You deserve a day to relax." "I will." She kisses me on the cheek, a gesture that feels more like habit than affection. I'll probably be late. No problem. Maddie and I will find something to do. After Tessa leaves, I wait exactly 30 minutes, then put my own plan into motion. Hey, kiddo, I call to Maddie, who's in the living room reading. Want to go for a drive? Where to? I thought we might check out that new ice cream place downtown. Maybe walk around the farmer's market. Sure. The farmer's market is 3 blocks from Luke's wellness center. Pure coincidence, of course. We spend an hour browsing the stalls, buying fresh apples and homemade bread, acting like a normal father and daughter on a normal Saturday morning, but I keep one eye on the time and one eye on the street. At 11:30, right on schedule, Tessa's BMW pulls up in front of the wellness center. Dad, look at that dog, Maddie says, pointing to a golden retriever at a nearby stall. Very cute, I say, but I'm watching my wife get out of her car and walk into the building where her lover is waiting. Can we get ice cream now? Maddie asks. Absolutely. The ice cream shop has outdoor seating with a perfect view of the wellness center. We order our cones and sit at a small table, Maddie chattering about school while I watch the building across the street. Dad, you're not listening, Maddie says. Sorry, kiddo, what were you saying? I asked if you and Mom are getting divorced. The question hits me like a slap. I look at my daughter, really look at her, and see worry in her eyes that no 12-year-old should have to carry. Why would you ask that? Because you guys don't talk anymore, and Mom's been acting weird, and you get this look on your face sometimes, like you're angry but trying not to show it. I'm quiet for a moment, trying to figure out how to answer. Maddie deserves honesty, but she also deserves to be a kid for as long as possible. Your mom and I are going through a difficult time, I finally say, but whatever happens, it's not your fault, and we both love you very much. Is Mom seeing someone else? The directness of the question takes my breath away. What makes you ask that? She's been getting dressed up to go places she never used to care about, and she's always on her phone, but she hides it when you come in the room. Plus, she's been really mean to you lately, like she's looking for reasons to be mad. My daughter is 12 years old, and she's figured out what I've been trying to deny for months. I don't know for sure, I tell her, but I'm trying to find out. Is that why we're really here? To spy on her? I consider lying, but Maddie's too smart for that. Partly, yes. Good, she says, surprising me. I want to know too. We sit in comfortable silence for a few minutes, eating our ice cream and watching the world go by. Then, at 12:15, Tessa and Luke emerge from the wellness center together. Even from across the street, their body language tells the story. They're walking close together, his hand on the small of her back, her head tilted toward him in intimate conversation. They look like a couple. They look happy. Is that him? Maddie asks quietly. Yes. He's not that good looking. Despite everything, I smile. No, he's not. We watch as Luke walks Tessa to her car. They talk for a few more minutes, then kiss goodbye. Not a quick peck, but a real kiss. The kind of kiss that says this isn't casual or new. Tessa drives away first. Luke watches her go, then gets into his Range Rover with the ridiculous license plates. What are you going to do? Maddie asks. I don't know yet. Are you going to fight him? No, kiddo, this isn't about him. This is about your mom making choices. But he's part of it, right? Like she probably wouldn't have done this if he hadn't talked her into it. Again, my daughter's insight surprises me. Maybe, but she still chose to listen to him. We finish our ice cream and drive home in silence. Maddie goes to her room to read, and I go to my office to think. The evidence is overwhelming now. The secret phone, the financial records, the lies, and now visual confirmation of the affair. I have everything I need to confront Tessa, to demand explanations, to start divorce proceedings. But I'm not ready to end this yet. Because I've realized something over the past few weeks of investigation and planning. This isn't just about Tessa's affair. It's about the systematic way she's been rewriting our marriage history, painting me as the villain in her story, convincing herself that I'm the reason she's unhappy. Luke has been coaching her in this narrative, but she's been a willing student. If I confront her now, she'll just double down. She'll claim I'm being controlling, possessive, that I drove her away with my behavior. Luke will support that version of events, and they'll both walk away feeling justified. I want them to face the truth about what they've done. Not just the affair, but the lies, the manipulation, the casual cruelty of it all. I want consequences. At 6 o'clock, Tessa comes home with shopping bags and a story about her wonderful day at the spa. Simone says hello, she tells me. She thinks you've been looking tired lately. That's nice of her to notice. She suggested we all get together for dinner sometime, maybe next weekend. Sure, that sounds fun. Tessa looks at me strangely. Really? You usually complain about spending time with my friends. Do I? I don't mean to. I like Simone. This is partially true. I do like Simone, which is why I called her this afternoon to confirm that she spent the day at her mother-in-law's birthday party, not at a spa with my wife. Simone was very interested to learn that Tessa had been using her as an alibi. Very interested indeed. Well, Tessa says, clearly unsettled by my agreeable mood, maybe we can plan something. I'd like that. That night, after Tessa falls asleep, I sit in my office and finalize my plan. It's not about revenge. Not exactly. It's about truth. It's about making sure that when this marriage ends, everyone understands exactly why it ended and who was responsible. Tessa wants to rewrite history? Fine. But I'm going to make sure the real story gets told first. And Luke Pryor is going to learn that some husbands don't just roll over and accept being replaced. The game is about to change, and this time, I'm making the rules. I didn't catch my wife in some dramatic hotel sting. No broken plates, no shouting match. Just quiet, undeniable truth. Texts on a burner phone, credit card charges, and the image of her kissing a man who teaches yoga and calls it soul alignment. When I confronted Tessa, I didn't raise my voice. I handed her a single sheet of paper, dates, screenshots, receipts. Evidence, not emotion. Her face went through the phases fast. Denial, anger, then the cold calculation of someone deciding which story to tell. You were spying on me, she said. No, I told her. I was confirming the things you stopped caring enough to hide. She tried to make it about my flaws, my long hours, my distracted mind, the marriage dust that settles on every routine. I didn't defend myself. Every marriage has cracks. Not every spouse invites someone else to live in them. The truth hit hardest when our daughter, Maddie, asked the question I'd been avoiding. Are you getting divorced? I told her the truth. Yes, we're separating. But she isn't the reason. She isn't broken, and she won't be forced to choose sides. She nodded, older than 12, and said, I just want the house to stop feeling sneaky. That was the moment I knew I was done trying to fix something built on lies. I moved into the small studio over the garage and drew up a plan. Shared custody, transparent finances, mediation instead of courtroom war. Not to be noble, just to make the damage clean instead of scorched. As for Luke, the self-appointed spiritual savior, I didn't punch him. I filed a formal complaint with the state licensing board documenting his pattern of counseling married women into beds and divorces. Consequences, not revenge. One night, Tessa stood in the doorway of the studio looking smaller than I remembered. I told him it's over, she said. I'm not your audience anymore, I answered. But good. She wanted to know who we used to be. I told her the truth. The best version of what we knew then. The worst version of what we forgot later. We will not be friends, at least not soon. But we will be civil. We will show up for our daughter. We will sign papers instead of writing new lies. Maddie and I hung a corkboard in the kitchen. Photos, school reminders, a custody calendar in bright colors. Tessa stopped in front of it and whispered, Thank you for not burning everything down. I build exits, I said, not bonfires. The house is quieter now, but it's the good kind of quiet. No secrets, no late-night lies disguised as work events, no pretending. My wife once told me I wasn't owed her body. She was right. But I was owed honesty. And now, finally, I've built myself a life where I don't have to beg for it.